Hey everyone, I am coming at you back from my house again today. I have a great Pilates routine for runners and cyclists. So this could actually be applicable for pretty much anybody, but if you are a runner or a cyclist, I bet you are tight in the following areas, right? So ankles, calves, hamstrings, your IT band, hips and quads, chest and shoulders, all those areas. We're going to work to stretch and just find some more mobility. We also want to strengthen some areas, right? Your core, your glutes, right? Those muscles that help power us and keep our bodies nice and strong while we're running and cycling, as well as a couple other things as well. So if that sounds like you, right, then this is the right video for you. My husband is an avid runner, runs regularly multiple times a week. And so I am pretty tuned into kind of what's going on, what's tight, what maybe might need to strengthen as well. I've also been cycling myself regularly, so I am pretty now in tune to those cyclists and kind of what they're dealing with as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, we're gonna start right down onto your back. So all you need is a mat here today. And actually grab a block as well. And if you don't have a block, then a nice kind of thick, big book will do just fine. So if you need to go ahead and pause it to grab those, please go ahead and do that. Now we'll use that towards the end. All right, so if you're here with me getting ready, go ahead and come down onto your back. Let's find that nice long spine. Your shoulders are nice and open here, and your knees are bent with your feet here on the mat. I want you to take a couple deep breaths. So take a deep breath in. Expanding the breath into the ribs, into the lungs, and then exhale. Let everything go. Good, let's do that again. Deep breath in, inhale. And exhale. All right, bring both knees into your chest. And you're gonna have your hands one on top of each knee. You start to circle those legs in one direction. So the legs are staying together. So this is more of a massage for that lower back and right behind your pelvis. All right, let's go ahead and reverse those circles. Good, just a couple more in this direction. All right, go ahead and bring your left foot down to the mat now, keeping your right leg pulling in towards your chest. We're gonna start doing some full knee circles with just that right knee. So you're really trying to open up even more, especially out to the side. Hi, Remy. And go ahead and make these nice and big, trying to get some nice movement and rotation, mobility into that hip. Let's go ahead and reverse your circles. So if you think about running and cycling, right, your legs are going in one motion, right? Just that forward motion in parallel, never kind of wavering from that. So that's where the hips can get really tight, and it's important to include this type of hip mobility so that you're not getting too tight, or that's going to cause other issues as well. All right, go ahead and place that foot down. Let's switch to your other side. So bring that left knee in, and then go ahead and start to circle that leg around. Good, again, just loosening up here. And you'll probably feel pretty quickly which side is the leg or hip that is tighter, although you may already know that anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and reverse your circles. Again, making them as big as feels good for you. Finding that range of motion. Try to keep that opposite leg still, so nice and stable, right? Everything else is still in your body. It's just that leg that's moving. That's gonna tell you what your true range is, right? If you start twisting the whole body and that other leg, you're kind of doing a little bit too much. All right, go ahead and bring it back into center. Bring that foot back down to the mat. All right, grab on behind your right leg. As you pull that right leg in towards your chest, send it up towards the ceiling, okay? Now go ahead and start to just point and flex your ankles. This is where we're gonna get into a little bit of that ankle mobility, which can get, again, really tight here. Also start to feel that stretch in the back of the calf. Now, if this is too hard for you laying down, feel free to go ahead and come to seated with your leg on the floor and just point and flex your ankle that way. And then start to do some ankle rolls. So you're gonna kind of roll your whole foot and ankle in a circle, keeping the rest of your leg nice and straight. Already you'll start to really feel like, okay, there are some tight areas here. Right, just these should start to feel really good just to start to stretch these little muscles in and around the ankle. Go ahead and switch your circles. Might hear some popping, just like that one. All right, and then go ahead and bend that knee back in, place that foot down. Let's switch to the other side. So left leg comes in, and then we extend that leg up towards the ceiling, and we're just gonna start to point and flex that ankle. Again, do this in seated if you need to. I know that tight hamstrings can sometimes limit kind of this position here, so take it to seated if that feels right for you. Good, now start to do those ankle rolls. So the lower leg, ankle, feet tend to get ignored a lot when it comes to these sorts of things, like the stretching and strengthening and that kind of thing. So it's important to do these sorts of mobility exercises. So go ahead and switch the direction of your circle, right? And you can do this kneeling, sitting on the couch, watching TV, right? Doesn't take too much. Good, last couple here. All right, so now go ahead and bend your knee, place that foot down. All right, just for a quick second, I'm gonna talk about alignment here. So we're fully on our back, feet are on the mat, knees are bent, right? We are in a parallel position with our legs. So what that means is that the legs are not splaying out to the sides, right? They're not opened up. They are like two parallel lines. You have all four corners of your feet are pressing into the mat, right? So we're not rolling out to the outsides of the insides of the feet, not touching the knees together, just staying in that straight line. So that's part of that alignment, right? The knee, the hip, and the ankle are all in that one straight line. Go ahead and bring your arms down by your sides now. And feel the rest of your spine, right? From your head to your pelvis, just nice and heavy here on the mat. And now we're gonna start to find a rolling bridge. So we're gonna find some movement in our spine. So keeping the legs in parallel, take your inhale. On your exhale, start to flatten your low back into the mat. And then you're gonna continue to peel the spine up one bone at a time until you come up into that full bridge position. So check in here, where are the legs? Are they still in parallel? So now reverse it coming down. Okay, this time we come bone by bone, coming down with the pelvis, the last to hit the mat. Okay, let's do that again. So we start to flatten the low back into the mat as you pull the pelvis off, and then you peel one vertebra at a time off. As you're up here, feel that nice stretch in the front of your quads and your hip flexors. Again, still in alignment with those legs, and then lower back down. Release the pelvis. Good, let's do that again, rolling up. So this is our rolling bridge, our spinal mobility, which we tend not to get a lot of when we're running, right? And cycling, we're just kind of in that one static motion, not moving that spine too much there, except for a little bit of twisting. Good, now roll up. This time I want you to hold here at the top, okay? So holding here, we're gonna do some flat back bridges. This is gonna do more strengthening of the glutes and the hips. So I want you to lower the hips about halfway and then press into your feet. Use your glutes to lift back up. So we lower and lift. lower, and lift. So even as you're moving, focus on that alignment, right? Parallel legs, all four corners of your feet pressing down. Good, lower and lift. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good, and hold here, and then roll the spine back down and release that pelvis. All right, we're gonna come back up into bridge and hold that. Here's Remy, in case you haven't seen him in a past video. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and lift the hips up into bridge. Okay, hold here. Now keep the pelvis nice and steady. With that steady pelvis, you're gonna start to lift one leg at a time. So you're gonna bring your right leg to tabletop, right? Don't let that pelvis drop, and then place that right leg down. Switch to your other side, left leg lifts. Good, and bring that down. Good, right leg lifts. So the only thing that's moving is that leg in the hip socket. Everything else is staying nice and steady. The reason why this is important is because you want to be able to move your legs independent from your hips when you're running and cycling. You don't want to be moving the whole unit all as one together. So important to be able to move them separately. Do one more each side. Good. Last one. Good. And then hold both feet on the mat. Lower the spine, coming all the way back down. Release there. Take an inhale. Exhale, we're going to roll back up. All right, hold it here again. Transfer your weight to your right leg. Left leg is going to come to tabletop. We got single leg toe taps. So this time you stay just on that right leg. You're going to, with a bent knee, tap the left toe down to the mat and then lift it back up. Good, tap down and lift. So not only are you strengthening the glute of that right leg, you're also working on that core strength, stability, and that pelvic stability as well, not moving the pelvis. Last one, tap and lift. Good, place that foot down. Switch to your other side, right leg to tabletop. Good, we lower it down, tap and lift. Good, and lift. So you're imagining the rest of your body is like a statue, right? It's just that leg that's moving. Good, last one, and lift. Good, place that foot down. Transfer your weight back to your right leg. Left leg comes to tabletop. Single leg pulses. You're gonna lower your hips just a couple inches, press it right back up. Lower lift, right? Just a small movement. Drive through your glute in your heel. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Good, place that foot down, switch to your other side. Right leg lifts to tabletop. We pulse it up. Good, lift. Last 3, 2, 1. Place that foot down, even your hips off if they've twisted a little, and then go ahead and roll down through your spine, coming all the way back down. We've got one more little bridge exercise, so go ahead and roll back up. This time both feet stay planted, right? But we're gonna lift the heels. You're gonna come up onto the balls of the feet and then lower the heels. So we lift the heels, lower the heels. So this is just getting back into that ankle mobility work, right? Ankle mobility, but still working those glutes here. Let's just do 3 more. 3. Last 2. Remy sees something outside. Last one. Good, lower the heels, roll down through the spine. Bring it all the way down. Awesome. Bring the knees into the chest. Just let your legs rock just a little bit here, side to side. Good. And then go ahead and bring the legs to tabletop now. So your spine now is going to stay on the mat. And we're just going to move those legs here first. So what this is going to do is going to start to engage your core, right? Keep your knees over your hips in the starting position. Your shins are parallel with the floor in this tabletop position. Now, as you're here, if you feel like this is uncomfortable on your neck, you might want to bring a little pillow or towel behind the head and the shoulders. So keep your back of your ribs pulling down into the mat. Don't let that back arch off, right? So this is that engagement of ribs pulling towards the pelvis here. Now hold that. You're gonna take your right leg, you're gonna do those toe taps. So you're gonna tap your right toe down to the mat, lift it back up, switch to your other leg. So we're gonna alternate this time. Toe taps here, right? So this is where alignment comes in and is key, making sure you're not arching that spine off the mat. And if you're not, you should feel that abdominal engagement, that core strength and stability here while you move that leg. Let's do one more each side. Good, tap and lift. Last one, tap and lift. Good, hold the legs here. Arms are gonna come up to the ceiling. We're gonna do our ab curls. So take your inhale, exhale, lift up head, neck, and chest. Arms come down by your sides. And then we lower back down. Exhale, lift and lower. So think of lifting up right from the rib cage. No jamming of the neck, right? The head's just moving right in line with your spine as it lifts. Let's do 3 more. 3. Last 2. Last one, lift. Good, and lower. Good, bring the knees into the chest for just a breath here. We're gonna do what's called a single leg stretch. So this time we stay lifted in our ab curl, right? Keeping that strength and stability while we move the legs one at a time out and in. So go ahead and come up into your ab curl now. Hold yourself here. Bring your right leg in towards your chest as you bring your hands onto that right leg. Left leg reaches long. Now switch here, switch legs and switch. Shoulders are down, core is pulling down and up. So think belly button down towards the spine. Good. Let's do 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. Good, bring the knees in. All right, we're gonna do a similar leg motion. We're gonna do a crisscross oblique exercise with the upper body. So hands are gonna come behind the head, elbows are wide. Start with the legs in tabletop. Come up into your ab curl. Now you're gonna twist to the right as you reach your left leg long, right leg stays pulling in. And then we twist to the other side. Good, and twist and reach. So here, that pelvis is the thing that's staying nice and steady while you twist the upper body and move those legs. Good. Let's do 5, 5, 4. Keep those elbows wide. 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Good. Bring the legs in. Good. Let your head kind of turn just a little bit here, side to side. So that was getting more into those obliques, but still finding that pelvic stability. And that mobility of the leg without rocking that pelvis. Good. All right. We're going to do our double leg stretch. So we're going to do, bring both legs in towards you. So we're going to come up into our ab curl. All right. Now we're gonna do just the legs here. So I want you to stay in your ab curl. You're gonna inhale as you reach both legs out. Exhale as you pull them back in. Hands come back to the top of the knees. Inhale, reach both legs out. Exhale, pull it back in. Good, inhale, reach. Exhale, in. Good, inhale. Exhale, bring your head down if your neck hurts. Good, inhale. Exhale, we've got 2 more. Reach and in. Last one, reach, pull it in and lower down. Bring your feet to the mat. Arms come down by your sides. So that is focusing on that core strength, right? So hopefully you feel that core engaged, not doing a lot of repetitions, where it's usually about 8 to 10 repetitions per exercise. But it's all about that alignment, that stability, that control, that precision. And once you've got that, you don't need to do all that many. All right, let's go ahead and come to lie on your side. So I'm gonna flip over onto my right side so that I'm facing you guys. And if you're mirroring me, you'd come onto your left side. So you're gonna lay all the way down with your elbow at the back edge of the mat, and then your spine is all the way along the back edge of the mat as well, all the way to your pelvis. Now I want you to keep your bottom leg bent with your knee, your whole leg on the mat. And then you're gonna reach this top leg long. Now what's important here is that your pelvis is stacked right on top of each other, as well as your shoulders. So what I don't want is kind of the hip to be turned out or too turned in, right? You're straight up and down, just like if you were laying on something, a mat behind you or the floor on your back. Okay. With that, pull your belly in, reach this top leg long. We're going to start to lift and lower this leg. Okay. So the toe and the knee, or the toes, the knee and the hips are all still facing forward, right? They're in that nice straight alignment forward here. So we're getting into this outer hip and glute now. So back into strengthening that area of the body while still finding this core strength, stability, this control. Good, let's do 4 more. 4, 3, last 2, last 1. All right, now bring the leg to hip height. Again, make sure everything is in alignment. We're gonna do tiny little circles. So you're gonna almost like the size of a dinner plate. So not super big, but again, it's just getting that mobility into that hip, right? Getting that kind of different range, that different motion of the leg and the hip socket. Good. Last 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and reverse. Good. Also works on that pelvic stability, that control. So you don't want to be rocking or shaking back and forth. 3, 2, 1. Good. Lower down. All right. Now I want you to bend this top leg. And so your knees are stacked, your feet are stacked. And we're going to work into clamming. Again, still working on that outer hip and glute. Keep your feet together, just lift your knees and lower down. Good, lift the knee and lower. Good, so it's just that top leg that's moving. Lift and lower. Now, if you're not feeling this here, right, this outer hip and glute area, you might be tipping your pelvis back when you open your leg. So what I want you to do is keep this pelvis right where it is. Maybe put your hand here. And if you feel it shifting backward, try to stabilize it. Try to just move that leg in the hip socket. Let's do 5, 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Good, lower it all the way down. All right, let's go ahead and switch right over to the other side. So we can just swing the legs around and bring it on down. This is our, what we call our side lying leg exercises. There's quite a few more side lying leg exercises, but we're just doing just a few here to start. So getting that back all the way to your pelvis aligned with the back edge of your mat. That just helps you make sure that you're in that alignment. And then make sure the hips are stacked, reach that top leg long. And then we lift and lower here. Good. Lift and lower. Good. Lift, lower. So even though you're on your side, your core is still working, stabilizing, pulling it in and up. Let's do 3 and 2. Last 1. All right, reach the leg out at hip height. This is those small circles now. Circling in one direction first. Again, stabilizing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We reverse it. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bend that top knee so it's right on top of your bottom one. Keep those feet together. Bring the hand onto the top of that hip. Make sure it doesn't move as you lift and lower. Yeah. And just like many of the other exercises, you'll feel which side is harder. This right side for me does not open up, or does not want to open up, as well as my left side. This is my tight side, my tight hip. So it's always good to do work single-sided, right? So working one leg separately than the other. So that way you're strengthening those muscles without compensating with your stronger leg. Good, let's do 3 more. Last 3 and 2. Last 1. Good. All right, now flip all the way over onto your belly now. So we're gonna get a little opening in the chest and the shoulders. Work those upper back muscles. Those are called our thoracic muscles. This is our thoracic extension. So again, we tend to kind of get rounded in the shoulders and in the chest if we've been running a lot or cycling. So in this position, your forehead's coming down to the mat. Your hands are right under your shoulders with your elbows by your sides. I want you to reach your legs out nice and long and have them be active, right? So they're not just hanging out. You're pointing your toes, you're feeling your glutes, your hamstrings here. They're about hip distance apart. All right, now last thing, pull your belly up and away from the mat. So feel like your belly button is lifting off of the mat, off the floor. And then on your inhale, start to press into your hands as you start to lift up into your little baby swan, or you might know this as cobra. Pull the belly away from the floor, shoulders down, elbows squeezing in towards your sides, and then lower back down. So these are just starting to engage those back body muscles here. Good, those muscles that will strengthen, that are really good for your posture, for your alignment. Muscles that we tend to forget about because on the back side of our body. That's super important, especially if you're doing lots of that running and cycling. Good. Also important, just if you sit at a desk a lot or, do anything where you're sitting quite a bit. Always good to strengthen these muscles. Let's do 1 more. Press into the hands, shoulders squeeze together, down and back, and then we lower it down. Awesome. All right, let's get a little bit more opening. Go ahead and bring your hands in here behind your back, is clasping your fingers. Now you can reach those legs long. Now this time the upper and lower body are gonna lift together. As you lift your hands up, those arms are gonna lift everything up and back. Good, and then we lower back down. Let's do that again, shoulders down and back. Good, lift upper and lower body. Open the heart, chest, shoulders, and we lower. Good, 2 more like that, belly in. Good, reach those legs out and long. Lift here. Good, and lower. Just 1 more, shoulders back. Good, lift it up. And lower it down. All right, hands come back into the shoulders. Press into the hands. Come into a child's pose, either knees together or knees apart, sinking the chest down here towards the floor. Good, 1 more breath here with your exhale. Try to let it all go. All right, quick stretch on our back before we come back up to seated, and then we're gonna eventually move our way up to standing. So coming all the way down to your back, we're gonna do a supine twist. Supine just means on your back. So you're gonna pull your right leg in towards your chest, reach your left leg long, bring your right arm out to the side as you start to twist this right knee over to the left. So you've got your left hand on top of that knee. Just a nice, easy twist. This is gonna stretch out that lower back, also that glute and piriformis as well. It's a really yummy stretch here. So I try to let that opposite shoulder stay down and relaxed into the mat. Good, go ahead and bring that back to center. And then release that leg to the mat. Pull your other leg in, right knee pulls in, and then we twist to the other side. Try to release any tension. Sometimes we're holding even when we don't think we are. Good, and then go ahead and pull that back into center. Pull both knees into your chest and then rock yourself up to seated. All right, we're gonna do a quick little butterfly stretch and then a forward fold before we kind of start making our way up a little bit. So butterfly stretch, feet are together, knees are nice and wide here. This is getting into kind of that hip opening, right? And that inner thigh stretch as well. So, right, your knees may be up here, that's okay. It might help to prop something up underneath your legs on each side if you feel like they're just gripping too much. Okay, so when you're there, start to lift up into that nice tall spine and then start to hinge forward at the hips. And then eventually, if it works for you, you can start to bring your hands down onto the mat and then maybe even your forearms as you let your body now start to round forward. So you may not come down very far. That's okay. It all depends on how tight those hips are. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to open them up. We're trying to get them to release. We're trying to get them to relax. Good. And again, deep breath in. Good, one more breath. Good, start to come all the way up. Now we're gonna reach your legs nice and long for just an easy seated forward fold. So bringing those legs straight in together. Go ahead and find that tall spine again first, and then start to hinge forward at the hips. Eventually, you're gonna have to start to round over. And then hold on wherever you can, whether it's your feet, your shins, wherever that is for you. You're feeling that stretch, I'm sure. So just let everything else go. Let your head be nice and heavy. Try to let your shoulders relax. Let your neck relax. Let's take one more breath here. All right, stack that spine back up to seated. All right, let's move into a little runner's lunge before we come up to more of a standing position. So go onto your knees here and let's go ahead and send your left leg forward first. All right, so first, I want you to bring your fingers down to the mat, framing that foot, that front left foot. Right, your knee is over your ankle. I want you to lift up through your right knee so it's nice and straight. I just want you to flex through that right ankle. So you should feel that calf stretch here. Not only the calf stretch of that right side, but also that hip flexor stretch as well. Shoulders are down, core is pulling in. We're just gonna stay here for a couple more breaths. Good, last breath. Good, drop your right knee down now, and then bring your hands up to the top of that left leg. So as you're here, right, that alignment, think of your legs kind of on railroad tracks, right? You don't wanna let your left knee kind of come out to the side. We wanna keep pulling in with our inner thighs so we're staying nice and aligned in that parallel position. All right, so start to sink just a little bit more into those hips, right? Feeling a little bit more stretch in the front of that right quad and hip flexor. Good, pull your belly in and up. Think of lengthening your lower back as much as possible. All right, kind of think of tilting your hip bones kind of up towards your belly to find that stretch. Good, keep your shoulders down. All right, I want you to bring your left hand onto your knee. Bring that right arm up overhead. This is a little bit of a balance challenge too. Reach over to the left, keeping your chest and heart open here, nice and wide. So you're feeling more of a stretch in that hip flexor on this side stretch as well. Try to keep that chest open, shoulder blades down and back. And then bring that hand down. Good, go ahead and frame that foot again. Keep that knee down and just flex back. Little hamstring stretch here. Flex through that left ankle as you straighten that left leg. Sink into your hips. Good. Good. Start to come forward now. Now we're gonna switch legs. So lift your back knee up and then step your right leg to meet your left foot. And then bring that left leg back. So now you're in that runner's lunge with your right leg forward, left leg back. So now we're flexing through that left ankle here, right? Staying lifted in our belly, shoulders down. Good, feeling that calf stretch, quad hip flexor stretch. Still feeling some strength in these legs. Good, one more breath. Good, bring that back knee down. Start to bring yourself up, hands on the top of that right leg. Good, as you sink down, right? We're not just hanging out into our hips, into our joints here, but really again, think of squeezing those inner thighs, pulling everything through the midline, pulling your belly and hip bones up, and then lengthening that lower back. That should make a big difference in that stretch. Shoulders are down. Good, now draw that left arm up towards the ceiling. Good, reach up first and then bring it overhead. Again, try to keep your shoulders open. Good, down and back. Nice, one more breath here. Breathe into that left side rib cage. And then go ahead and lower your hands back down to the mat. Good, this time you're gonna plant your hands down, lift your hips up, bring that right leg back to meet your left, and then bring your hips all the way up to a downward dog, okay? So heels are dropping towards the floor, chest is sinking towards the thighs, and just start to walk your dog a little bit here. Good, pedaling one knee and then the other. Getting more of that stretch here in the back of the legs. Good, bring both heels down to the mat. Take one more deep breath. Good, exhale, let it go. Good, now you're gonna walk your hands back towards your feet so you're in a standing forward fold. All right, we're gonna start to roll the spine up to standing. So keeping the legs straight, you're gonna start to roll all the way up, stacking your pelvis on top of your legs. And then your whole spine is gonna roll up with your head the last to lift. So now we're back into that beautiful standing alignment. As you can see, my dog has magically appeared here on the mat. This is Remy. Hey, buddy. All right, so we're gonna do just a few last exercises here in standing, working that alignment. So this is where your block is gonna be used, or like I'll show you here, right? This is actually a game. It looks like a book, but a book this size, it's really solid, something that your whole foot could fit on, right? Something nice and stable. So I'm gonna use my block. All right, I'll come over here just a little bit. We're gonna do what's called a pelvic lift. All right, so you're gonna place your right foot on the block. Make sure your heel is on your block. If there's anything coming off the block, it would be your toes. I wanna make sure your heel is grounded. All right, this is where you might wanna have a surface to hold on to for some balance if you feel a little unstable. We're gonna start to lift this left leg so that it's in line with your right leg, right? So your hips are in a line, just like as if you were standing. Now, you're gonna staying with your legs straight, you're gonna start to drop your left foot towards the floor by tilting your pelvis. And then you're gonna use this outer hip and glute of your right leg to start bringing that left side back up to parallel. So it lowers down, right? And then it lifts back up. I'm staring straight ahead so that I can keep my balance here. So find something that you can look at. It's nice and steady. You're gonna really start to feel this glute engage, right? These are great exercises for runners and cyclists to really engage this whole area here. I wanna make sure you're feeling your glute and not your lower back doing the work, because what happens is once you start to feel that lower back, it means you're lifting by kind of using that lower back to lift the left side up and not by kind of pulling down and engaging on this right side, if that makes sense. Good, so just do 2 more. Good, last one. Good, and lift. We're gonna do all of that on the other side. So let's move to our left foot. All right, so left foot on your block. All right, so one side you're gonna feel is easier to balance than the other. This is my harder balancing side, but my hip is a little bit stronger on this side. So go ahead and find that balance first, or use a countertop, and then start those leg drops. So these again are called pelvic lists, L-I-S-T-S. And these are great if you do just a lot of repetitions, right? You don't need extra weight. You don't need anything else for this, just a block or a book, right? And your body, that's it. Oh, another spot you can do this is the stairs. So if you have a stair or stairs in your house, right, you just place one leg on, turning to the side, and then you can use that lift of the stair to do the same exercise. So there you go. You don't actually need any props. Good, let's do a few more. Again, feeling that outer hip and glute. Again, this is my bad balancing side. Good, last 2. Good, last one. Good, lift. All right, let's go ahead and bring both feet down now. Let's bring our block off to the side. All right, so we're gonna find a little bit more standing alignment before we just get a final stretches in. So we're in the standing position, right, of our ankles in our knees and our hips in that one straight line. So we're not turned out here with the legs, right? The toes are all facing forward. And this is that alignment we were feeling when we were kind of in that bridge position on our backs, right? So now we're just feeling this in standing, which is where you're gonna be taking your running too. So feel your belly pulling in, feel that work we just did, right? Feel the shoulders dropping down your back. Arms are coming down by your sides. Now, see if you can put some pressure in between that first and second toe. Keep that alignment, keep that lift through your spine and your core as you come up onto the balls of your feet, and then lower the heels down slowly, right? So this is not a quick motion, right? You're lifting up and then lowering down. So I want you to think about putting that pressure again between that first and second toe, right? And that is where you're pushing off of when you're running, especially. So a lot of us tend to kind of roll to the outsides of the feet. So if you're noticing you're doing that here, think about that, right? Think about putting that pressure in between the first and second toe and lifting up from there, because that's going to help us stay more aligned in our running stance and our cycling stance as well, okay? Some people tend to cycle kind of with their legs more kind of out to the sides. We want to find that alignment. Straight ahead, pressing into that first and second toe. Good, lower those heels. We just have one more here. Good, lift. Whoop, lost my balance. Let's try that one more time. Let's go ahead and lift up. Balls of the feet, good, heels lift. Good, and then we lower it all the way down. All right, couple stretches, quad stretch. So we're gonna stay in standing. Find a wall or something to hold on to if you need, right? Or a countertop. And then go ahead and make sure your legs are together. Start to grab your right foot so it's behind you. This might be hard. You might need a strap or something to grab that foot if you're really tight in your quads. I'm gonna tell you here, right? Knees need to stay together. This is gonna be your most effective quad stretch. You also need to make sure that your hips are not way back here. This tends to happen if we're really tight. Push those hips forward. Think about that standing alignment. And then start to lengthen your lower back again, pull the belly in and up, and then try to pull the leg in. That's gonna give you your best quad stretch. So that same sort of positioning that we're finding in that kneeling lunge. Good, hold it here. Good, last breath. Go ahead and slowly release that leg down. Good, shake it out just a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and switch to the other side. So right leg, right? Find that left leg pulling back, that heel towards bottom. And again, knees together, hips pressing forward as the leg pulls back, right? Lifting up through your belly. Also, are the hips in parallel, or have you started to drop into that hip too much on that lifted side, right? This is where that pelvic lift came in to keep that alignment of your legs in parallel, okay? So just hold that for another breath here. And then release your foot down. Go ahead and shake it out. All right, so I want you to cross your ankles so that I'm gonna do right ankle over my left. So my right leg is forward. I'm just gonna do a little bit of an IT band stretch. So we're gonna start to round forward, roll down, just like we rolled up just a second ago. And from here, I want you to bend your right knee a little bit. Let your left hip kind of kick out to the right a little bit. I'll kind of turn to the side. So your left hip's gonna kind of kick out just a little bit, forward fold, and then walk your hands over to the right. So you're feeling this nice stretch here all along this left side. Again, that IT band all the way down that leg if you're like me, right? It's going all the way down. In a good way though. It's that kind of hurts, but hurts so good kind of stretch. Good, take one more breath here. Good, let's bring it back to center. Straighten the legs and then round the spine back up. Let's do the other side. So crossing left ankle over right. Good, I'll turn to the side a little bit this way. Good, round forward. Bring your hands to the mat. This is where that block or book would be handy if you can't get your hands all the way down. Start to bend your left knee. Send that right hip out to the right. And then again, this time you walk your hands over to the left. So you're kind of walking the hands in the opposite direction of that right hip. Feeling that nice stretch all the way along that side. Good. One more inhale here. Good. Exhale. Go ahead and walk it back to center. Straighten both legs and then round, coming all the way back up. All right. Last one. Back into that regular standing alignment here. Good. Nice and tall spine at the top. Good. Start to bring your chin towards your chest as you roll down. This time, hands try to come to the floor if you can. Then you start to slowly bend one knee and then the other. So not a quick movement. Again, letting the hips kind of move a little bit side to side as you do so. This is getting into that IT band again, more into that hamstring as well. Good. Beautiful. All right, so go ahead and hold those legs nice and straight. And then you're going to stack your spine all the way back up to standing. Good, shoulders are down and back here at the top. And you guys are all done. Well, I hope that all made sense to you. Tried to explain and describe kind of what was going on with each of those movements and how it could help you with your either your tightness or kind of the areas that you need to strengthen to help give you some more strength and power and to stabilize. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're looking for a little bit more mobility and flexibility, I'm going to go ahead and link to a workout. Actually, I think it's on this side. I'm going to go ahead and link to a workout here. If you want a little more core work, I'm going to link to a short and quick core video here if you'd like to add a little bit more on. If you have any questions about anything that I did, please go ahead and leave a comment below. I would love to get it back and forth. If this was helpful for you or didn't quite get something or just have a question in general. So love to hear from you. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I would appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you back here on the mat again very soon.